Yeah, it's podcast time. And for the love of Christ, I don't know how people keep their jobs. I really don't. And this is gonna be a 12-minute psychiatry by myself vent session here on the Taking Vegas podcast. And I'm Chris Hodge. Let's get right to it. If you've listened to any podcast I've done, you know I hate the media. Can't stand the media. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way. Criminal organization. No doubt in my mind. Literally a criminal organization. I've long said the three worst organizations in the history of the world are the mafia, the NCAA, and the media. Now, you can put them in any order you want to put them in. But those three are sitting at the dinner table all alone. So we have the media, who, man, a good to fair number of people in this country actually are stupid enough to listen to. But that's neither here nor there. Go look at the Todd Bowles press conference and the ridiculous question that he had to answer. I mean, and he is a respectful guy. He's a classy guy. And I'm thankful it wasn't me up there. Because here is the answer that I would have given if it was me up there. Now, I'm not going to tell you what got asked yet. I'm just going to give you the answer that I would have given if I'm the coach who got asked this particular question. Here it goes. Why the fuck am I here? This is a waste of time. You're an idiot. You haven't done your research. You're a moron. Why are you allowed in this room to ask me a question that wastes my time? Get the fuck out. That would have been my response. Not classy, not good, but I would have been sick of it. Now, here was the question asked to Todd Bowles, who's the head coach of Tampa Bay, who's playing in Detroit this week. Are you worried? It's very cold in Detroit. Will the weather be a factor? He was asked that question by a member of the media. Detroit plays in a dome. There is no weather. How does the person asking the question not know that? I don't get it. And she asked it like it was a legitimate question. Like she had no idea. Another member of the media that, man, if this was medieval times, you'd be stoning these people, man. I mean, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. That's how bad the media is. Literally, if I walked outside and there was a news report that the weather, the sky was blue, and the media told me that, I look up and think it was green. I don't trust a word they say. They're ill-prepared. They're moronic. They have their own agenda. And this goes for politics, sports, or whatever. How does that woman keep her job with a question like that? Okay, oh, Chris, everyone makes mistakes. That's why there's erasers on pencils. Great, no problem. All right, no one should be fired for one mistake. But if you don't know there's a dome in Detroit, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, that's probably not your first fuck up. Like, I'm literally going to think that. That's probably not your first. You're probably an idiot. And you just wasted the man's time. His job is to get his team prepared. And he has to sit up at a dais and answer the dumbest questions. Okay, that's one. Let's move on. How does anyone associated with the Carolina Panthers keep their job? How? Listen to what they did. They traded up to get the number one pick in the draft last year. They screwed it up. They picked the wrong quarterback. Bryce Young might very well have a fine NFL career. I don't believe there's any doubt that we all know that C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback. No doubt. Okay? So you trade up and you pick the wrong guy. Okay. NFL teams have made mistakes before. Fine. But then you would have had the number one pick this year. And because you traded up, that was the pick that was included. So now you don't even have the number one pick this year. That went to Chicago. Okay. Last year on your roster, you had Baker Mayfield. Now, okay, We know Baker Mayfield's not awesome. We know he's not a great quarterback. But he's in the Final 8 right now with Tampa Bay. Carolina had the opportunity to take C.J. Stroud, and they had a guy on their team named Baker Mayfield. One very, very good quarterback. One very serviceable quarterback. No good. Let's get rid of him. And now you don't even have the number 1 pick this year to show for it. And you won, I don't know, 1 or 2 games? How? How does anyone in that organization, why is it just the head coach? Why? Why isn't it, if I'm the owner of that organization, I literally walk in, I probably do it after Christmas because I don't want to fire people before Christmas. I don't think that's the right thing to do. But I literally walk in, I don't know, January 7th. Is that a fair date? It's a fair date. I send out a memo. Entire staff meeting. Scouts, coaches, January 7th, 9 a.m. Make it 10 a.m. Let them sleep in. Make it 10 a.m. And I literally say, as everyone sits down and they start drinking their coffee, this is what I say. Everyone, get the fuck out. Everyone's fired. Because you're useless. I won 1 goddamn football game this year. You idiots who scout can't pick the right quarterback. I got a GM who traded away the number 1 pick. I know he got fired too. But I fire everyone. I had a quarterback who's serviceable, took an NFL team to the playoffs. You guys got rid of him. Everyone gone. Good night. Go away. I never want to see you again. Literally start over. And for everyone saying, well, Chris, you can't just fire an entire organization. How much worse can it be? You won 1 game. A 2 game, whatever you won. How much worse can you get? What, 0-17? Okay. What's the difference? It can't get much worse. So fire everyone. And that brings me to another thing. One of the biggest fraudulent jobs of all time. Guys who are right up there with meteorologists. Right up there. Who get paid to get things wrong. Now, I'm going to preface this. I'm in the sports handicapping industry. People out there could be watching this. Well, Chris, you've been paid and you've lost games. Yes. Okay? But I don't require any money of my clients until they make money. So if I lose, I don't get paid. If I do a bad job, I don't get paid. Simple. Plain. Easy. Okay? I have to win to get paid. Meteorologists, they have radar. Still can't get it right. But that's been going on since forever. Let's go to the next people that should never, ever keep their job longer than 16 hours. Scouts. So, look at the NHL draft. Go look at that draft. Go look at the first round of the NHL draft every single year. Out of the 30 teams that play, maybe 25%, maybe of the first round have kids that they draft in the first round actually play an NHL game. Maybe. How bad are you at your jobs? The NFL, how bad can you be if you thought Bryce Young was a better quarterback than C.J. Stroud? How bad can you be if you let Tom Brady go to 199? How bad can you be if you let Brock Purdy go to Mr. Irrelevant? How bad can you be? How bad are you? How do you call yourself a scout and then miss that over and over and over and over? Why are you allowed to keep your job? Why? I have customers. If I lose 3 or 4 straight games, because it happens. You can't win every game. I've said on every radio show I did, every podcast that I do, if the topic comes up, every call-in that I do, it's just a hard way to make an easy living, right? But gambling and putting your money on and risking it on the outcome of sporting events, right? It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But if I lose a few games in a row, they fire me. I get fired. But that guy no longer wants to take games from me. As it should be. But these guys continue to keep their jobs. Well, let's move along. We've already established scouts are terrible. Let's move along. Let's go to referees. How on earth does a guy like Angel Hernandez still have his job? I know he's an umpire. How on earth are these guys who constantly get it wrong on the brightest stage, how do they keep their job? Who represents them? I want that guy to represent me. I want to be wrong 90 times out of 100 and still get paid. You know how easy of a life that is? To constantly get it wrong and constantly have money come in? Holy smokes! Who wouldn't want that job? Who wouldn't want that job? You look at the NBA referees right now, you got coaches going like this. Look at the screen. This ain't even on. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. There it is. It popped up. Look, nice snowstorm. Hey, look at the screen. He got the call wrong. Look at it. You had, who was it last year? Pat Beverly in Boston pull up a camera and go to a referee. Here's the camera. No good. You can't show them proof. They don't like that. Okay? Yeah, what was the other thing this year with the LeBron James three-point shot? That was close. If you ask 50-50, 100 people, 50 are going to say his foot was on the line, 50 were. That was close. But with all this technology and everything that we do, how do people still screw up? I don't get it. And furthermore, after they screw up, after they ask a question about weather when a game is being played in a dome, after you pass on a quarterback, okay, that is now you passed on two quarterbacks that are now in the final 8 in the division round of the NFL. If you're scouts and you pass on guys that become superstars when they're drafted in the hundreds, okay? If you're referees who screw up, how do you keep your job? How? Can someone tell me? Can somebody? Are we just living in a time where mediocrity is great? Where like mediocrity is applauded? Is that the time we're living in right now? Because it sure sounds like it, right? To keep your job, you should be elite at your job. If you're not elite at your job, you should at least be very good. If you're not very good, you should at least be competent. 2 + 2 = 4. You should at least know that. That's the 12-minute vent session. It's coming up to an end right now. If you can see me on video, you know I'm looking to the left to see the clock that tells me when it's time to shut up. If you just listen on audio, that's the thing. But check out the YouTube because you'll see the video of this. I did this podcast on Wednesday at about 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'm not going to have any free picks. I'm going to do another one on Thursday or Friday, breaking down the NFL weekend, breaking down some college hoops as well. And if you guys agree with me, send me a text or send me an email, chris@takingvegas.com. Let me know. And listen, if you call me a moron, that doesn't offend me. I have thick skin. It is what it is. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday. That's the vent session. Chris Hodge signing off. Taking Vegas podcast. Hope you enjoy listening to it.